Hi, I'm Jennifer Cody, and today we are going to make a veggie tray with homemade ranch dip. Okay, we will be putting some carrots in. I've got about 6 carrots, a couple pounds of carrots on the tray. Red peppers, beautiful colors to brighten up the tray. Broccoli looks a little dry. We're going to fix that. And some cauliflower, we'll put that on there too. And cucumber, I have a cucumber on hand, I'll throw that on. You can arrange your tray with more or less of your favorite veggies. But the important part for a lot of people is the dip. Sour cream, mayonnaise, super easy to make your own dip. It's got pepper, dill weed, this is sugar, secret ingredient, and there's some Italian seasoning and some, it's called Veggie. It's a blend of herbs, and if you don't have that, you can substitute regular salt and a little bit of lemon juice. That is going to make the dip, which is going to go in the cabbage. I usually use a red cabbage to scoop out and put the dip in. You can just use a bowl, but we'll get started. Okay, so we will start with some carrots. I've got a head start because I peeled these already. But I want to show you how you can cut the carrots very quickly. They are going to arrange on the tray really nicely because they are kind of a little pointed, so they go into the center of the tray nicely. I do an angle and an opposite angle. And if you notice how easy this is to cut, I'm cutting the pieces in half again. But you can, I mean, if you had a big party and you needed to make 10 times this much, you could actually do it pretty quickly. So we will chop up the carrots. Now there's another secret to the carrots, and you've probably seen this happen, that the carrots can get dry looking and not as appetizing as right now. They're pretty fresh, they've just been peeled, and you leave them out at room temperature for a while and they can start looking dried out. And the same with the baby carrots. The baby carrots usually look even drier. I like to use the whole carrot because I've always got them on hand, and they're usually a little cheaper than the other baby carrots. So we're just about done. The other secret to the carrots is we're not going to pickle them, but we're going to put a little bit of salt, and this is my vinegar. We're going to put the carrots in the jar. Okay, now we're just going to put a little bit of salt in. I'm putting about a teaspoon or so, or maybe a half of a teaspoon. And this is a little white vinegar, and we're shaking it up. It's really weird how this works, but there's some kind of scientific reaction. We're just going to let those sit a little. We're actually going to drain off the vinegar salt water in a few minutes, but for now we're moving on. The other thing we've got is a broccoli, and the broccoli looks a little dry, but we're going to fix that too, because you want your veggies to look good and be good for you. So something you can do, you can cook these in the pan and steam them a little. They get all bright green. Or there's a little other thing you can do, and you can use a little olive oil and maybe put a little in your palm of your hand, and you brush it on here, and you can tell there's a big difference. The one is much brighter, and this will just make our broccoli yummier. Okay, one more ingredient for color is the red peppers, and they're easier to deal with if you just cut them in half this way. and you can pull this part out. I like to actually just kind of, that gets them all the seeds out quick and fast here. And then we are going to cut these the same way we did the carrots, very similar, in a little angle here and here, just kind of, it's fast. And when they go on the tray, it's just going to all fit on the tray really, really neat. You'll see. Okay, and I'm not throwing this stuff on the ground. I've actually got a little compost bucket because we save all of our kitchen scraps. This will be a very colorful veggie tray. We're going to also today put some asparagus on. If you like asparagus and you've got some, kind of nice to use. And I am going to cook this, and I'll show you what I do. You break these. The part that breaks off is the tough part. This will break naturally where there is a tough part on the bottom and the rest of it's pretty tender. It'll just break. Wherever you hold it on the one end and the other, wherever it breaks is where the tough part was. And we are going to throw these in the pan. Okay, I got this pan pretty smoking hot, and you'll know because it's going to go. There we go. That's pretty hot. We're just going to let these steam. I just put about, a couple tablespoons of water. So we will let those steam for a minute or two. If they were the skinnier asparagus, they'll go quicker. These were thick. But we'll give them a couple minutes. With the water in the pan steaming them, it's kind of handy. You don't have to parboil or whatever. You just do it all in the pan and they fit in the pan. Part of the secret is to cool them off quickly. We're going to put them on a cookie sheet and just chill them in the refrigerator quickly so they'll still be bright green and healthy and tasty. So these are now very bright green. They're going to be tender enough but really tasty. And I'm going to put them on this cookie sheet, and they're already cooling off, steaming. I'm going to go refrigerate them and put them back on the tray later. Okay, so moving on, we've got our carrots. They're getting a little soaked in their salt and vinegar. We've got the red peppers, and we have our broccoli. It's all nice and bright. You can do this little trick with your cucumber if you want. Just take your tines. Doesn't take very long. We are scoring this so that when we cut it, it'll have a cool design. And that's about ready. We'll cut this. That's good. Usually by the time you get to the end that doesn't have seeds in it, that's the bitter part. So we're done with that. So now if you want to go all out, get yourself a red cabbage. This is kind of just really colorful with all the other colors. And you can scoop it out. I just cut the end off with the core, and I'm going to take the core out. It's a little time consuming, so you might not always want to do this. But you just basically whittle away at this, cut it out a little, and eventually we're going to have a bowl. So now we will start putting the tray together and move on to the dip. For this tray, I just happen to have a lot of ornamental cabbage growing in the garden. So I'm going to line the tray with that. But you could use lettuce or whatever else. Maybe you have something growing crazy in your yard. And that's going to just be a nice bed for all these colorful vegetables. There we go. All right, it should do it. I'm going to put this in the middle, and we'll start creating our masterpiece here. Gets the carrots. Like I said, we're going to drain off the extra juice. I'll just put it in this bowl. They sweat a little. So you put a little salt on them, but then you drained it off. And now they're just really bright. And I mean, they're delicious too. So we're just going to, I usually alternate the colors. Maybe some red there, some orange there. Okay, we've got the carrots on. We're going to put some red peppers, same story. And the way these were cut, that easy way of just angle cutting them, you got these little points. It's just really easy to put them on the tray. And a lot faster, really, than cutting them into matchbook sizes. So we've got our red peppers, marinated carrots. Now we're just adding a few cucumbers. And then we will nestle the broccoli in the middle. It looks kind of cool, like this, just kind of like a little garden around here. Yeah, we'll finish plating the tray, and then we will make the dip next. 1 cup of sour cream and 1 cup of mayonnaise. And right there, you've already got a good basic ingredients to start with, and you can spice it up in different ways. But to get something like a classic ranch dip, we like to use a little Italian herbs and secret ingredient, some sugar, and this special salt. This is 2 or 3 teaspoons of this Veggie. If you use regular salt, just maybe 2 teaspoons or even less. It's got different herbs and blends in with the salt. And we have the dill. We have a 1/2 tablespoon of the dill. And we have 1.5 teaspoons of the pepper. So that was almost everything. We also have 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So we added a little sugar and we added a little lemon, so it's got a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of tang to it. We're just gonna mix it up, and this will make a delicious dip. It's also a great dressing for salads. So here's our assembled tray with our red, orange. We've got the cucumbers and asparagus, and we've just kind of nestled the broccoli in there, and it's beautiful. And we will add the dip and be ready to serve. So here's our finished tray. We are ready to serve this to our friends, family. It's nice, pretty, it's healthy, and we can feel good about it.